Welcome back to the Software Matrix here on Print Island. And not far from the island today is my friend down in Australia. We have Julia. Julia is from the Pattern Room. We're going to go a little bit, should we say, in a different direction today on the Matrix, where we're going to look at the apparel and the fabrics and the clothing world in a little bit more detail. Julia, before we talk about your amazing innovative invention in the world of apparel, do you want to give us a little bit of a background of who you are and what you do for a day job?
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for having me, Chris. Lovely to be here. So I have been in the fashion industry for over 30 years, but the reality is I think I started sewing before I was 10, so you can add another 8 years onto that.
Yeah, don't give your age away, Julia.
I know. Well, I'm pretty proud of it, It's a privilege to get old, I believe.
Very good.
So I have a number of businesses. Two of the main ones are both Pattern Room, which we'll talk about today, and another business called Sample Room, which I've run for the last 16 years. And Sample Room is the traditional product development house. So we work with thousands of different designers, and they come to us with an idea or a picture, and we create the pattern template, the sample, the graded specification, and go through the whole sampling process. And we used to also do small run production locally in Australia. And so Pattern Room was born out of that as a new way to do this based on the process that I have gone through thousands and thousands of times.
Wow. Okay. So can you tell me a little bit about the journey then? Let's get into the Pattern Room. Let's get into the journey of what it does. Sorry, let's go what it does first of all, and why we think it's special, why we've sought you out to talk about it today, and then the journey of how you've created this digital product.
So Pattern Room has flipped the product development process and makes it accessible for people all over the world to get industry-based patterns in DXF and AI with matching tech packs in 48 hours. So we're taking the product development process from 12 weeks to 48 hours. On top of that, making it easier no matter where you are in the world without limiting your resources, because pattern makers are getting harder and harder to find, whether it's employing them or whether it's finding one, because it's not as trendy or attractive to be a pattern maker as it is to be a designer. And so we're making it easier for people to get great fitting patterns to really reduce the world of bad fitting garments.
Wow, that's quite a set. And 48 hours as well. That's so quick. So quick. The motivation thing clearly came from shortage of workforce, or was it a mixture of shortage of workforce and poor quality of patterns going through the production process?
Well, originally, Pattern Room has been in development in very many forms, probably over the last 14 years. I would say soon after I started Sample Room, I started developing the Pattern Room concept. Originally, it was the core styles that we were using all the time. So say, for example, a single button tailored jacket, a pleat front pair of pants, a traditional trouser over men and women. So I had a core block of styles, which were really my blocks. Every pattern maker has blocks. I went one step further and made garments so that when a client came into the workroom, they could try a garment on as a way to communicate the style that they needed. And for me internally, wanting to grow my team and knowing that from the stage someone starts to learn pattern making to when they're a really good pattern maker is a very long journey. You really need to be a pattern maker in the industry for about 30 years to have all the skills over all the garments to see how a garment should fit well. But if you're wanting to build a team from a junior, then you need to give them a good base to work from. So there were two sides of the coin of making it easier to communicate with a client and making it easier to delegate work to people within my team, that it didn't all come back to me. So that was the first stage.
Yeah.
That website ran for a few years. I'm not even sure if you could buy from the website. It was a long time ago when it was hard to get a good web developer. And then over time, really through being so busy and having people come to me saying, I just need a t-shirt, or I just need a jumper, or I just need leggings or activewear. I had an idea and I thought, what if I expanded out my block library with with more variations that I really mastered the fit of a particular block or a shape, and I tested that in the market, and I could build that out into a much bigger resource. When I started, I don't think I realized how big it was going to become. At the moment, we're sitting at about 2 million designs. Maybe it could be 3 million. By the time I've finished with Pattern Room, it's going to be in the billions.
Wow, serious numbers.
Mm.
Absolutely. I mean, this is unbelievable. So just going back a step, patternroom.com is the site.
Mm-hmm.
If I talk me through the use case of how we would use it and how you'd receive the job and how you make life easy for everybody.
Mm. I'm currently going through a process of moving the website to a free membership model, only so that we have an onboarding process and that I can show people how to use it. Because being such a new process, people are often guided through a process by a pattern maker or a garment technician, but they don't really think about the steps. And so the process that we go through on the Pattern Room website is exactly the same as every single design meeting that I have. Someone comes in with an idea. So in the Pattern Room case, they may have a garment that they're trying to replicate. They might have an idea for a product. They might have something that's close to it, but they want to change it. Say, for example, they like the fit of a t-shirt, but they want to change the sleeve length or they want to change the neckline. And so we have 3 different processes people can go through. The first one is using a builder. And so what our builder, you choose a category, men's, women's, or kids. We will do babies in the future, but that's a whole other large section to tackle. You can then choose the category of product. So at the moment, we've really concentrated on the custom sportswear industry. So that's t-shirts, singlets, jumpers, jackets, tracksuit pants, leggings, and we'll be going into swimwear, crop tops, dresses, all in the knitwear area. But we do have future plans for woven garments in corporate and uniforms as well in the future.
Wow.
We often say it's for custom sportswear, garment technicians working offshore, smart designers who don't need to go through a designer process. They realize the value in getting a great fitting pattern quickly. So we don't tend to be for startup designers. We find that startup designers need a lot more hand holding, which is what our sample room business does. The Pattern Room is more for the established company or somebody who understands what to do with a pattern once they have it in their hands.
Wow.
So through the builder, you can select the various fits of a garment, and we've got garment measurements as references, the various lengths, hem shapes, sleeve lengths, yokes, pockets, and then also necklines. And so the combination of all of those elements, I think we have about 150,000 versions of a t-shirt, and that's a set-in t-shirt, and we have the same for a raglan sleeve t-shirt.
Wow, you're a very busy lady. Very busy lady. In your view, what makes the Pattern Room unique in the industry? And I mean, for me, coming from a slightly different print vertical, but very interested in the software, I just see this as revolutionary. I've not seen anything like this, hence why I reached out to you. Am I right in saying that? Is it the only thing of its kind on the web? Is it pattern on demand? And what do you think makes it unique?
Definitely, I have not seen anybody else do this yet. I've seen people dabble. They might make 5 patterns and put it on their website, but that's not enough to really get any traction or to give people the breadth of choice to make it really viable. There are a couple of people around that are trying to get AI to help, but I actually think, and in fact, my videos I've just been creating today, I clearly say this is not AI, it's not an algorithm, it's actually a pattern maker, because patterns need accuracy. And we all know, we've used AI enough to know that it can hallucinate and create something that is totally wrong. So AI is not going to take over this area of the industry anytime soon, although there's elements that we can use it for. One of the reasons why I don't think anybody has done this yet is the huge body of work that's needed to set this up. Somebody who's obsessed with good fit on patterns. And really, I do not know many pattern makers who do anything without getting paid for it straight away. So you really need to be able to combine it with a business like Sample Room to test and to utilize what you're making as you're building out this huge body of work, and really have the mindset to create something much bigger than just the one-off jobs that you're doing each day and individual jobs. So it's probably a combination of my sheer passion for pattern making and getting a great fit, combined with a business where I had a number of pattern makers. So I wanted to make sure there was consistency over our process and our fit, and a bit of craziness, I think, in there as well.
I love that. I really agree with the AI point. That resonates. I think everyone we've spoken to here on the Matrix and in the industry in general over the last 2 years has the same message. First of all, the intelligence is already in most of the software that we've been using for some time. However, AI is only as good as the information that passes through it.
Absolutely.
And it's just so refreshing to hear that even in a different print vertical that's what you're seeing as well. So like you say, it can help speed jobs up and help with the function, but it needs an operator, right?
Exactly.
Staying technical.
Good data in, good data out.
Exactly. Yeah, data's the currency, right? Staying with the technical side, let's talk technical foundations and challenges here. How actually did you build the pattern room? Obviously, you don't want to give away too many trade secrets here, especially if it's a one-off. What platform tech stack are you using, and what sort of challenges did you have when building it?
We just use a CAD system like all the other ones that are out there. We've been through a number of websites. I think the biggest challenge that I have found over, really it's 15 years, is explaining to a web developer that I'm not selling a garment. I'm selling a pattern. And so I have to be so transparent and clear to anybody that they can't come to the website and buy a one-off garment, an on-demand finished product.
Yeah.
We are for B2B. And so that's been the really big challenge with the whole website. And we've been through, we used Magento for a while, and the idea was that all the patterns would be on the website. So you need a big beast to do that.
Yeah.
But anyone who's used a Magento website knows that it's painful. And as we did develop on the website, then of course the version we were using was then no longer supported, and in order to change to a new version was going to cost us a lot of money. And so I pulled back on that, and that's one of the reasons why we've got the 48-hour turnaround.
Okay.
Some people get their patterns in an hour. Some people, it's the full 48 hours. It just depends on, I want to check each pattern before it goes out, because I know that a pattern can go from my hands to a run of 1,000, and so it's just too big a risk to trust something that maybe have been sitting there before that someone else has made, or we're always evolving for example, we changed our notches a few years ago. Instead of being T notches, they're straight notches. But over time, we've updated that on the patterns.
Okay. So
it's really about just the mindset of how we've set up our system rather than the tech stack. So it's quite funny. We had to block any web traffic from a certain Asian country for a while because we were hit with bots in a huge way, because people want to know, they want to get behind the scenes. I think in my mind it's a compliment.
It's a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got great security protecting what we've created. But it really is, I think, not necessarily about the tech stack. It's really about the thought process. So I guess the tech stack is my brain as a first level, and thinking big from the very beginning, which is what it needed to think about what would it look like if every design possibility was available. And that then steps back into the process. So, we use Shopify at the moment. It's great. I use it for a couple of my other hobby businesses as well. So as far as a product and the building element of a website, which always needs to be updated as we learn more about our customer and hear our customer's language and know what captures the market, then it's great to be able to easily access that, which I could never do on Magento.
No. Okay. I had a bit of a route around on the code, and I could see Shopify sort of site structure, and I could see a lot of bespoke work within that site infrastructure. So I'm guessing that's where Julia's mind goes into into your own kind of matrix, if you like. But
definitely.
It's great. I mean, it's really interesting here because obviously this whole segment on Print Island is about software, and it's about the technology and innovation. But there's so much of a human element in what you're preaching and what you're practicing as well on a day-to-day basis, whether how you built the site, why you built the site, how that you use the modern day tools, the AI tools, but still you want to make sure there's no error and the quality's there. It just seems as if like this is how a modern day seamstress should work.
Yeah, definitely. I have clients in the States. I've got a client in Las Vegas who's pattern makers in San Diego. I have clients in New Hampshire that work on Fiverr with someone in India. So they've had to find a way, because there are so few pattern makers that have the breadth of knowledge, and I can't see that changing anytime soon. And so giving people the access to get patterns quickly that are delivered that work. One of our manufacturers sends a lot of people to us because he said they just work. First time, they just work. There's no back and forth. And so that was one of the other reasons. And I think it's really a change in thought process from the category of designer or business owner, and understanding that a pattern maker is often making a lot of design decisions on your behalf to make sure that the shoulder line's sitting in the right place or the armhole curve looks good. And so the traditional process of using a tech pack and having a pattern maker at a factory overseas make a pattern, we're really relying on the unknown element of what is their skill set. Do they know what they're doing? And when you get the garment back, how do I fix it if I don't have those skills myself? And so we need to make sure that if we get it right to start with, right in the balance and the armhole shape, then the other elements of shortening a garment or shortening a sleeve, they're easy. It's the trying to correct an armhole curve or a gape in the armhole. That's impossible to do when someone's already made a pattern.
Fantastic. I was going to ask you actually, I wanted to understand a bit more about your customers, but you've answered that in some of the other questions. You've explained your ICP fit, and you've just given me some great use cases as well. And clearly a global business, clearly it's something that you see a gap in the market. I'm going to, go slightly off topic here, but, do you see the apparel space, not just where you're based, but in the whole world, do you see this is something that is only going to grow, that we need to do more of? I mean, that's a loaded question. I'm coming from a print on demand, web to print space where there's a massive need for people to order one times of something quickly, whether it be for work, whether it be some kind of promotional item. Are you seeing the same kind of trend as well? Do you get a one-off pattern, or do you get a one-off request that's high value?
Some of our customers are in the print on demand space. Where I see pattern room benefits, more that small run custom sportswear type customer, which is a large portion of what we do, is that they can have a customer walk through the door with a product, and they could say, can you replicate this uniform? I want to move from my previous supplier. I want to move to you. I've heard you've got great quality, quick turnaround. Yeah. And then they can check to see if we have the pattern on Pattern Room before the customer, and then only purchase it once the customer's placed their order.
Okay.
Because they know they're going to get it in 48 hours. The one at a time product is difficult, but then if we flip it over to the way that the catalogue has been set up, each company, each brand, whether it's print on demand or other various businesses, they're choosing the style of what they're doing. So they're targeting a customer that wants a slim fit t-shirt or range or a loose fit. And so they can then choose the garments that they want to build that out. So we've got a print on demand. Actually, we've got 3 or 4 of them in the States that we work with.
Really?
One's quite new and has built out a range of about 25 designs. And as they start to hear that, whether it's what's that new touchless rugby game that they do in the States now, flag ball or something?
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, there's a whole new category of a hooded sleeveless singlet that I thought no one would ever buy. And all of a sudden, people were looking to buy it. So not necessarily that buy one pattern to go through the print on demand, because it still has a 48-hour turnaround, which doesn't really fit in with that model. But it's far more accessible for people to build out their product range and have consistency of fit, which is a really important element for a lot of companies. So when a customer buys one garment and they love it, they can come back and they can get a totally different looking garment, but the same great fit that they loved. And so that builds up a lot of customer confidence, because even companies like Nike, they have a lot of returns, not because the product's bad, but because in the consumer's mind, they have a thought that that's a Nike fit. Hang on, I bought another garment and it's not the same fit around the body. It was never intended to, because one was basketball and one was golf, but they have a thought process that there should be consistency with that. And so you can build that with your own brand.
Yeah, no, I get that. I saw that a lot in the sports apparel space in a previous life, and some athletes would stay with certain brands because based on what you just said. You know, so and so's known for wide fit, so and so's known for slim fit, so and so's shoes are known for whatever. And interestingly, a lot of those brands, we've obviously got the pattern part that you're talking about here, but also the materials and the countries where it's put together as well. There are so many elements to that. Very interesting subject. I should imagine that could be a webinar of its own. That one. That's fantastic answer, Julia, and I've sprung that one on you a little bit there because I just wanted to know from selfishly from a print on demand point of view. The site's lovely. You should, take a bow for the work that you've done on that. It's absolutely beautiful. I've never seen anything like it at all. It should be awarded an award for innovation first and foremost. What's the future plans for the platform? What you've got up your sleeve next?
Well, as I mentioned, we're moving it to a membership model, and that's to start with so that we have the onboarding process, because people sometimes jump on there and they say, what do you mean 2 million? I found 12. And they don't realize that those 12 images behind them have 150,000 versions of.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to step people through to get the value that they needed from it. So they weren't just clicking around. People love building on there. It's a bit of a designer experience, but to give them more confidence to then go ahead and buy the product. As I said, we're moving into the various categories, such as babies and then swimwear, and then we might start off with shirts and then woven jackets. There's just so much to build on. There's a lot of products that we won't make. We won't go into the full-on designer category because that still needs that traditional process. And I know from my experience, there's a lot of people that don't want they want that personal touch of working with their pattern maker and creating something. So that's a different customer base that we won't be working with. I do have some plans to bring in some AI, but it won't be to build patterns. It'll be to find patterns.
Okay. I was thinking something else then. I was thinking like chatbots or something to deal with silly questions.
Oh, well, definitely. That's a given. That's all over. Absolutely. It's interesting because I do have a little bit of a chatbot on there at the moment, but it isn't quite trained well enough to answer the terminology all over the world,
Yeah.
Someone will ask a question and I know what it means, but the chatbot doesn't yet know that.
Yeah.
So there are definitely plans to move into those elements. I won't be moving into print on demand.
No.
That I'll leave the printing. I'll support the printers to do what they do. And we have a lot of fantastic relationships with people who are manufacturers because they just love to be able to hand customers on that they can get a pattern quickly to then come back to their service to have that garment printed and made. So it's really just expanding the range out. Next year, I'm downsizing sample room, which I'm doing at the moment, and I'm moving more into focus on pattern room because every time people find out about it, they absolutely love it and it changes their lives. So I just need to meet more people.
I love it, and I'm never gonna use it. Do you know what I mean? So I love the whole concept of it, and I just think, again, in a world that we're in, hence why you're on the Matrix. There's probably a lot more you can share on your own stories in life and business. But I think it's just so cool. It's so it's how we should be using our digital tools in the 21st century. And you've found a problem. You've come up with a solution. There's a huge gap in the market. It doesn't just help people with a solution, but it brings consistency to clothing, which also will help with waste and so many other things as well. So it is brilliant. Honestly, take a bow. I think we'd just like to say thank you so much for coming on, Julia, and we look forward to following your journey even further through the world of print.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for inviting me, Chris. Lovely to chat with you.
Oh, thanks, Julia. Couple of questions, if I may. Are
Mm-hmm.
you FESPA Australia member? Are you FESPA?
I was.
Okay.
We don't have a big garment industry here.
No,
And
no.
so I go to the FESPA barbecue with Daniel
Yeah.
because he's been a member for a while, and I was for a little while. So they definitely know me there, and I'm good friends. Do you know Nigel?
Yeah, very
Oh,
well.
I'm
Nigel
good
Davis,
friends
yeah.
with Janet, and
Yeah,
Janet's a huge fan of Pattern
yeah,
Room,
yeah, yeah.
and so is Nigel. So I know them very well, and they actually live in my hometown. They
No
live in Adelaide.
way. This is so weird because I know Nigel
Yes.
from FESPA Middle East, and then Nigel got me into FESPA Australia, where I met
Right.
there. I picked up Daniel because he saw
Yes.
my speech,
Mhm.
and then now it's so
Yes.
incestuous, isn't it?
Very, very incestuous. And I'm really lucky. The other person who Debbie McKeegan is another one who
I know
I
Debbie.
absolutely love, and she's a huge fan of Pattern Room.
Okay, because she's just done a load of work with me for FESPA Middle East, and
Oh, great.
I never met her, and it was really weird. Like I was harassing her, going, Debbie, I need to get you on. I need to do an interview with you for FESPA Middle East. She's like, yeah, I'm busy. I'm like, okay, let me know when you're free. And I went to Orlando for Printing United, and I was like a media day, and she's gone, Chris. And I was like, Debbie, what are you doing here? She's like, what are you doing here? Because
She's always there.
we associate each other with Dubai and the Middle East, and that's where, and actually we are both very global, if that makes sense. So I met
Yes.
her in person. It was amazing. What a
Yeah.
woman.
I know. Yes. I always love catching up. I was very lucky that I did have a birthday when I was in Berlin, and so she got to come to my birthday. Both her and and Janet came to my birthday. It was great. So yeah, it's a wonderful community, and it's quite different than the fashion industry.
Yeah, yeah. I won't tag FESPA in. Then, is there anyone else that you want? Any other memberships or any other organisations you're part of that we should credit in the copy?
Um, Not really, unless you wanted to mention that we were at ITMA in 2023. We showed at ITMA, we showed at FESPA, um,
IGMA. How
Munich.
do you let
It's
me see?
ITMA, ITMA. If
ITMA.
you haven't been before, I highly recommend it. It's
Yeah.
incredible. It's ITMA. I think it's
Textile and
international.
Garment
Yes.
Technology Exhibition. Okay. Sorry to cut. Sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk you
Okay.
then.
So they have a whole hall on printers. They have a whole hall on weavers, on yarn technology, on
Okay.
I was in the tech hall, and so we met a lot of people through that. So you could mention that we showed there. We were at FESPA that year as well, and then we were at Impressions and Printing United in that year as well. So I'm part of Printing United.
Are you?
Yes.
Look.
Ah,
I'm a Printing United All-Star.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Fantastic.
they invited me. Oh yeah, hence the t-shirt as well. Yeah, they
Yes.
invited me because of Print Island basically, and I got to go, and it's great. I mean, I was going to go anyway for my own business, but um,
Mhm.
it's just brilliant. I just love them. They're just so refreshing, and they basically got like 20 of us, gave us all those really strange baseball jerseys, and then got us to go around the show and work with the exhibitors and the media partners to kind of just add some value to people that have invested a lot of money in a booth. And it worked really well, man. It worked really well because I was that exhibitor, 12 months ago, spending somebody's marketing budget. And I was like, well, I was, but I had to go back and say how I spent it and what the reward was. And so therefore it was easier for me to understand talking to the exhibitor and saying, okay, so you've got a 20 by 20 booth. You probably spent about $30,000 here. How can we help you get your product or your message out more? And ultimately, Julia, it helps me because I then get to network with these people and potentially a chance to work with them in the future anyway, right? So I really like them. I really think they're forward thinking, the
Yep,
Alliance. Um,
absolutely.
I'm trying to do something with them in the Middle East actually, because the membership of the Alliance, if you're a member but you're not a US business, they will help you do business and beat the red tape into North America. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Oh,
But there's
really?
yes, that's why I'm talking to them. So, and this might help you because there's so many BS with tariffs and everything else with his lordship, Mr. Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things they were explaining to me as member benefits to people outside of the US is that if you're a member, there's ways that we can help you do business with the US, but not being in the US. So
Okay.
that's something I'm looking at. I'm looking at their education courses,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how I can help grow them globally. They have 70 nations signed up
Yeah,
to
wow.
the and they're American. You just think they're American, don't you? You just think they're an American organization, but
Yeah,
they're more than that.
yeah.
Vespa's Vespa. I mean, every chapter is amazing. The Australian chapter you're part of or connected to is Nigel's just going to do a great job. He is brilliant. The UK chapter that we're part of is good. We don't have anything in the Middle East out here, which is I'm a little frustrated about, and I'm trying to work on that with or without Vespa, to be honest, because the printers have all said they want to be part of the community, but the organisations aren't really grasping that. And I think the crazy part of that is that if there's a community where everyone's part of it, then it helps everyone. The OEMs can then sell to that community. The community can learn. You know, you think about your product, the pattern room, and apparel out here is huge. You know, if you could bring something like that here and go, right, I've got you guys covered, bang, you know. So yeah, I didn't mean to waffle on, Julia, but I think these organisations are very, very important. And I will mention, is it 2023 you were at those
Yes,
events?
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Printer United, ITMA, and Vespa.
Yep. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, definitely. And I am thinking of joining FESPA again. It's just when I had to do the whole shift and downsizing one to build
Yeah.
up the other, it's
Yeah.
just work out where your money goes.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Like it's all budgets and ROI. And I get it. We joined, I mean, we have to join a lot of things as a new business as Digital Inc. because we're a new business. We've got to be everywhere. We've got to be found, you know.
Yes.
And also the other, you know, the other stigma I'm trying to get around is sometimes people think because I'm out in the Middle East, the whole company's out in the Middle East, but it's not. Most of the team are in the UK or US. So we've got to have, where the people are, we want to have the right communities we're part of as well. You know, if we've got, for example, Vespa Middle East, which we're working on now, anything Arabic, the guys out here will work on it. The guys in England won't touch anything Arabic. I wouldn't
Yes.
dare put it near them. Do you know what I mean? So
You need to know so much, don't you, to
mm.
do that?
And know what you can't do. And that's the biggest thing, I think, is understanding your limits as a founder or a CEO. Is like, actually, I need somebody that can do this properly and not, you know, I need to understand my limits, if that makes sense. And that's what's been really good coming out here is embracing some of the Arab culture. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
understanding. And it's brilliant. It's really good. And I've learned very, very quickly from a consultancy point of view that it can all be in English. Absolutely no problem. As long as you sprinkle a little bit of local, you know, vibe around it, then everyone will buy into it. And that's one of the things I'm saying to a lot of the software vendors who are trying to come out here. I'm like, no, you don't have to have Arabic on it, but you have to be culturally right. So yeah, it's great. It's great. But if there's anything else I can comment or tag, let me know. We'll probably put like a teaser out later just to say coming soon.
Yeah, great.
But honestly, and I've said it before, I love it.
Oh,
Bloody
thank
brilliant.
you. Thank you,
Brilliant.
Chris. I really appreciate that because the fashion industry doesn't quite understand how massive it is here. And
No.
Daniel, love him to bits. He comments all the time whenever our local AFC, Australian Fashion Council, puts something out about technology and they go all 3D modeling or body scanning. Like it's not practical. It actually doesn't, no one's using it.
No.
And I think, and even with Pattern Room, you can take a Pattern Room pattern and put it into a 3D model program and it works.
But
So even the element.
But Julie, if I'm putting my marketing hat on, like that's great, well done. But you can reach those target customers other ways without going
Yeah,
through those stupid news outlets. Like,
absolutely.
you know, we source data for ICP Fit for lots of businesses, and I straight away was thinking when you were talking, going, well, I know what ICP Fit is now. I know what kind of data you would need. We'll take the message or the video or whatever it is, and we'll take it straight to them. Because
What's ICP Fit?
ideal customer profile.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yep. Yep.
so I think you said the size businesses you want, and but generally we would say to go to an ICP Fit assessment, it would be region, turnover, um, uh, probably position. And what I mean by that is depending what kind of product and service it is, would it be like a certain department, a manager of that department, or a C-level officer? Would it be a business that would have, say, a product champion in-house internally that would operate that product or service? Probably, I don't know, but we would go
Yeah,
for an
definitely.
assessment like that. We'd build up that profile, and then what we would do is we would go out and source all the basically the marketing data, and then we would work on the campaign or strategy around that. So what I'm basically saying to you is, and Daniel's quite right. He's not wrong on many things, to be fair to him. I probably shouldn't say that to you.
He's my husband, so there are a few things.
I'll leave that one to you two. But I would say that generally with the media in our industries, that they are a bit behind. They are a bit behind, and they're very much like that. And we run a not-for-profit called Sheep for Brains as a charity. One of the biggest problems we're having is changing the mindset of the industry across print as a whole. It's so dated and antiquated in most places, not all places, but most places. And with that comes kind of, it's harder for the next generation to come through. It's harder for to be less male dominated. It's, there's so many things that we're trying to kick out in that. And it's a global initiative, but the media is a bit of a problem. They're getting behind it, but again, they're not always understanding, and it's like, well, I had lunch with my mate Bob last week, so I'm going to do him a favor. And he always renews his pointless ad of the press that goes inside the whatever,
Yeah.
it's, so yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. When you're ready, we can definitely help you.
Yeah. When I've got the
Um,
cash.
yeah, and that's the thing. It all needs to be right. It's you can't do things, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the minute, like you just take as many opportunities like this just to get the word out. And maybe
absolutely appreciate that.
can you get a speaking slot at FESPA?
I'm not sure.
Do you want me to ask? Because I'm talking to them
Yeah,
later. I'm,
definitely.
I'm speaking about print on demand.
Yes.
Um, I mean, I could easily shoehorn this into my presentation because it fits on the demand element of people needing apparel patterns on demand, and you can
It's
just
an interesting one that you mentioned about the mental health because a
yeah.
customer that I am a connection within a business that I'm meeting a lot now is a garment technician.
Okay.
And so recently, one of our new clients in the States, she said to me that so she's in charge of making tech packs, organizing production, solving problems, measuring garments, organizing freight, delivery, logistics, everything.
Wow.
She's the everything person. But
Okay.
to get a garment made, she had to create a tech pack, which would take her between 4 and 7 hours just
Okay.
to send it to someone on Fiverr to make a pattern to then come back. And now she can go into Pattern Room and order a pattern in 5-10 minutes that comes to her in 48 hours. That's right. And she just adds a couple of colorways and labels into it. And she's got the pattern there ready to go. So it literally, she ordered 14 patterns from us. So what's that? Just as a quick, even if we said 4 hours each, 56 hours cut
Mm,
down to an hour. So
mm,
now she's got time. And the people who are in the garment tech industry, they're the ones that stay back late, that hate their job, that say that they won't do this for another season. And they're so hard to find because it's such a hard job.
mm,
So within an organization, the CEO is going to be concerned about people leaving because they can't find someone new and they're wasting so much time and energy on resampling. So it's a huge money saver, a huge staff saver. it's basically having an external staff member that
Okay.
enables it to. So that's the person who benefits, but they often don't have the say. So it's got to work up the chain to management. Management are the people that I'm targeting because they're the ones that they're looking at the bottom line.
This is a really good educational piece, awareness piece for FESPA, I think, as well, though.
Yeah, definitely. So that would be an
Yeah.
interesting one to talk about the mental health of the team and where the bottlenecks are and how to remove those bottlenecks, because this is a huge bottleneck remover from new product and expanding out the range.
All right, let me put something together. Let me ask the question, because you're there anyway, right?
Absolutely.
I'll be there. So if I can get you something, and even if I can't, I'll talk about you and QR code on
That'd be great.
But yeah, I'm really into it. It's just like it's just the technology's there. We've all got access to it. It's easy for to do it. It's just understanding this mindset of finding the challenge, building a solution, because there is definitely a workforce issue in every area, and it's going to get worse.
Yep, absolutely, particularly in that technical side, because I would say that people who are going into the fashion studies, there's lots of people teaching fashion, but in a class of maybe 20, 2 people will be technically minded. That's a very small percentage to come through, and then can they get the work to then build up the skills from there is another big problem. So we've got an aging out workforce with the skill set, and we don't have the types of businesses now to support training people to come up to that correct amount of knowledge. So,
but then also if businesses are having to have a low number of staff anyway, it makes sense using things like pattern room to then keep the volume and everything else going
as you need. Yeah, wonderful. Well, I look forward to seeing you in the new year, but have a lovely Christmas.
I'll see you in Dubai.
Barcelona. No, I'm not coming to Dubai. Daniel's going. I'll be seeing you in Barcelona.
Right, looking forward to it. Honestly, legend. Thank you so much. Appreciate you,
wonderful.
Julia.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Have a lovely night. Bye.
Bye.